Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. It's a post-fight video for the Tyson Francesco Pianeta fight from last night. I'll start with the performance and then talk about the Fury Wilder fight. It was an okay performance. I mean, he won every round, never in any trouble. Did 10 rounds at a reasonable pace, so there are a lot of positives there. But he didn't look like, you know, the Tyson Fury of old to me. Now his hands are quite quick. He had quite decent upper body movement, head movement. That side of his game looked good, but his legs to me looked slower. Didn't have the same bounce. A bit less coordinated. A bit more cumbersome. Now I'd like to see him shift a bit more weight, but definitely the movement, the legs and the feet are not at the level, based on that performance, that they were before, and the level that I'd like to see him going into a fight with someone like Wilder. Now Pianeta was obviously a step up from the last opponent. He was quite big. I don't know how much ambition he had. I mean, at the weigh-in, he was taking a selfie with Tyson. Obviously, Wilder turned up. All the talk was about that. I don't know. I wouldn't say intimidated or starstruck, but there was definitely the feeling that he was, you know, the sort of just some tune-up, and these two were like, you know, the top boys everyone was talking about, and he was just there basically to, you know, pretty much as a tune-up for Fury going in. Well, obviously everybody thought that, but ideally the opponent wouldn't be thinking that. You'd want him to be thinking, well, basically, fuck you lot, I'm going in, you're writing me off, I'm going in there to basically prove everyone wrong. I'm going there with some serious ambition. And I don't know if he did that. I mean, possibly he did to a certain extent, but he just got it sort of beaten out of him quite quickly. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he really went in there with that much ambition, to be honest, but he certainly didn't have much left in him as the fight went on. He came out, tried to swing a few punches. Obviously Fury, difficult to hit, big, rangy, hit him with a jab, leaning on him, beating him up a little bit in there. So maybe it was just a case of that, but still, I've got mixed feelings about this Wilder fight. I mean, I want to see the fight. I like the idea of it. I like an opportunity has presented itself. Fury wants to basically just seize it, and it's a chance to really make a big power move. And I like all that, and the reward will be great if you can pull it off. But in terms of preparation, I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, that performance wasn't exactly awe-inspiring. It doesn't fill me with confidence. I mean, been out of the ring a long time, fought the other bloke who, you know, it was just a bit of a joke fight, really. Pianeta, he was okay, but you know, he didn't look like his old self. He was a bit slower on his feet and a bit cumbersome. Now, he obviously blew up massively. And well, people are inactive. You get people who are inactive, but I've seen people compare it to Klitschko with Anthony Joshua. Well, Klitschko was basically in training for another fight, mentally switched on. He's still training now. He's still sparring now, like once a week apparently. He was training for a fight, same weight, same level of professionalism, same diet, not drinking, not going to bed at 4 in the morning, you know, doing a lot of coke. So, in an ideal world, the process would be a bit slower. I'd like to see him fight against someone, at least one more fight, at least one, and see how he looks there. Someone a bit quicker, a bit more dynamic, a bit more of a threat, you know, just really sort of sharpen him up a little bit more. Now, you know, the Fury, not just the Fury to beat Klitschko, but the Fury to beat the second time around, Derek Chisora, Christian Hammer, I would have definitely, you know, been very confident in him beating Wilder. Not to say that I wouldn't have thought Wilder was dangerous even then. Fury is best. Wilder is always going to be a dangerous fight for him. So it's not to say that, he would have just come in and, you know, boom, boom, job done. Of course not. But as of right now, I see it as a much more difficult task. Not to say that he can't pull it off, but do you know what I mean? I would like to have seen him. First of all, I'd like to see him, like, as I say, the legs to me, and the balance, the coordination, moving around. He's still upper body, head movement, hands. That looked all right to me. But the feet are a very important part of his game. Stamina looked good. I mean, he went 10 rounds, no problem. Not like a hard fight against someone who was basically pretty much beaten before the bell started. So I'd like to see 10 rounds against someone who's really trying to win before I could be that confident going into it. I mean, the thing with the Wilder fight, obviously, everyone says that Fury raises his game, or in some cases lowers his game to the level of his opposition. So that is true. So he's got a bit of time now, before this fight happens, to lose a bit more weight. He needs to get some very good sparring, and having that kind of challenge will definitely bring out the best in him. I think he is the kind of character that can up his games. If anybody can do it, he can. But I don't know, that performance last night didn't fill me with confidence that he's just going to go in there and basically make it look quite easy. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that I don't think he's going to win, but ideally I would like to see him have another fight beforehand. But I mean, listen, the opportunity has presented itself. All this stuff going on with Joshua and Wilder, all this nonsense between the two of them. Now he's sort of stepped in, seen an opportunity to do something great, come in and sort of snatch that fight from Joshua, win the WBC belt in America, then come back and potentially have a huge fight with Joshua. Plus, I mean, who knows what Fury's thinking? Maybe he's thinking that he wants to fight both of them, and he wants to get to Wilder before Joshua does. Maybe he believes what he's saying, that Wilder, he's the best, and he wants to sort of prove himself by beating. I mean, who knows what we thinks? But either way, there's a lot of glory in this for him, and it's an opportunity to present it itself. And also, obviously, he's been talking about it a lot. He's been saying he can do this, saying he can do that. So he's got to really go for it now, hasn't he? This opportunity presented itself. It is what it is. I would like to see him have another fight beforehand, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Obviously, from Team Wilder's point of view, this is a great opportunity for them. They've got obviously the situation with Anthony Joshua basically comes down to money, doesn't it? And people talk a lot of rubbish, but really that fight is about money, and that's what the argument is about. They're obviously thinking they can get Tyson Fury, big name, big fight, obviously massive for building Wilder's name in America. Plus, he would then go to the negotiating table with Anthony Joshua in a much stronger position if he did beat Tyson Fury. And even if he didn't, it would be massive for his career and his name in his own country, which is already starting to build it up quite a bit more than, a year ago. So it's good for them. Obviously, those two have been wanting to fight for a long time. The build-up is going to be absolute quality. And it's a very good time for what is it? I don't know. I mean, is it a good time for Wilder? I mean, on the one hand, it's a good time in the sense that Tyson Fury, it looks like he's not match fit and he's not going to be the best Tyson Fury. So they've got more chance of beating him. But at the same time, there is that kind of built-in excuse there that people are going to say, oh, well, it wasn't really the best Tyson Fury. So, I don't know. I mean, people are going to say what they're going to say on various sides, aren't they? For me, I am excited about the fight, and I do think Tyson Fury can rise to the occasion. But, I don't know. That performance to me, another thing, the power. Now, Tyson Fury is not someone who's a massive power puncher, but he is someone who has a bit more power than people think. When he plants his feet, he can give you a good dig. But last night, he really didn't look like he had that much power at all. Now, coming back from, obviously, that layoff, the drink, the drugs, the depression, being massively overweight, could have had quite a big effect on it. Could be that he was just wanting to go 10 rounds with Pianeta, which I think is quite likely. I definitely think he didn't want to really, put it on him and take him out. He wanted to get the rounds in the bank, but at the same time, I would have liked to have seen a bit more power about him going into the Deontay Wilder fight. Now, Deontay Wilder's not someone who is gonna, he's not a pressure fighter. People think, well, Deontay Wilder, he's just gonna walk through him, and that's not what Deontay Wilder does. Deontay Wilder's not someone who just like comes in. Anthony Joshua might do that. He's someone who more like sort of comes at you like, you know, unloads, throws a lot of punches. Deontay Wilder is someone who's quite cautious. You know, he really like looking for that perfect punch to land. So I don't see him doing that against Tyson Fury. I don't see him just sort of walking him down. Now he could, if he gets desperate at the end, come in. And he will start swinging big punches. We know that, but he's not a volume puncher, and he's not someone who's just going to literally walk you down and start unloading. He's going to be looking for that perfect punch, head shot as well. Now Fury with his like upper body, with his head movement, switching stances. I think it's going to take time. I mean, we all know Deontay Wilder could well knock him out. And one thing I would say as well, like the first couple of rounds, Fury looked a little bit shaky, seemed to get a little bit better as the fight went on. So that's potentially a window of opportunity. But I don't see Wilder just going in there, and he is cautious naturally, even against people like Gerald Washington, Spilker. Do you know what I mean? People like that. He's not someone who's just going to walk you down and steam into you. So I don't know. I don't think the power is going to have like that big an effect on like changing the way Wilder fights. At least initially, it might do as the fight goes on. If he's just getting outlanded, Fury's just sort of messing about, out jabbing him, he's not really been able to hit him, then he might change his style and, you know, really try and go for it. But I do think Fury's quite a good inside fighter as well. And if you can get on top of Wilder, lean on him. I mean, he outweighs him by a couple of stone at least. So don't be surprised if he, you know, if he does him like Steve Cunningham, or tries to at least. If he's finding that at range Wilder is a bit more accurate than he thought, and he's starting to think this is a bit, because Wilder's dangerous from range. If he starts to realise that this is a bit dodgy here, like I could get caught with something, he might sort of come in, put the high guard up, walk him down a little bit, come in, start working the body, leaning on him. I think that might be quite a good thing for Fury to do in that fight. In spells. I wouldn't say that he'd do it throughout the whole fight, but that might be quite an effective tactic for him, because Wilder's not an inside fighter. He's very dangerous from range. Fury's good from range, but over 12 rounds, like, you got to think like it's quite a dangerous place to be with Wilder. So if Fury can do that at times, but then kind of wear him down like that, lean on him, push him out, bang, body shot, like he did Steve Cunningham. I think that don't be surprised if you see something like that in the fight. So yeah, I mean, talk more about it as it goes along, break it down more. I still think Fury's got a very good chance of winning, but last night, as I said before, doesn't really inspire me with that much confidence that he's really back to his best. Let's just hope he can raise his game when the fight does get made. So yeah, that's all I've got to say for now. I'll make more videos about it nearer the time. Let me know what you lot think, and thank you very much for watching.